Rose, I say, why aren't you wearing your daisy chain? Rose doesn't answer. She only sits quietly in the grass, smiling. It wasn't easy to get her to take it off, the good queen says. But when Flit told her she could come and live with us, she finally did. It's my fault. I told Rose all about the summer country and how wonderful it is. I made her want to come. You'll get tired of her, I say, the way you got tired of the singer and the fiery redhead with the fiery red hair. The way you got tired of me. The good queen looks lovingly down at Rose. Surely not. Maybe Rose would be happy in the summer country, I think. She'd laugh and dance and play tricks. She'd have fairies for friends. The good queen would pull down stars from the sky just for her. But then it wasn't the good queen who gave me my star, was it? It was Hagar, my mother. Rose has a mother too, a mother who makes bread and puts Rose's hair in bows and makes her sit still for a nice dinner. Rose has a mother who loves her. I think, I say, that Rose should go back home. There is a rustle of surprise through the fairy crowd. The queen raises an eyebrow as if I've said something funny, but her voice is icy cold when she speaks. I take what I want. I step forward. Jonathan is still holding my hand and comes with me, though I think I feel him shaking with fear. Or maybe that's me. No, I say, Rose has a family. The queen seems to grow taller. For a moment I think she will do something terrible, call down a bolt of lightning from the sky, but then she smiles. I will make you a bargain, she says. I will allow you to take Rose home, but in return you must never tell anyone. You must never tell anyone else how you managed to see through our fairy tricks, and you must promise never to come to the meadow again on Midsummer's Eve. I'm about to answer, but she raises her hand. However, if you choose, you may come with Rose and me to the summer country. You will be one of the fairies again, and all will be forgiven. My heart leaps like a deer. Everything would be like it was. I won't be cold. I wouldn't be hungry. Time would be slow and sweet as honey again, and everything would be like a dream. Jonathan squeezes my hand tight, but he doesn't tell me what to do. No, I say. Rose is special. Rose needs something better. Jonathan whispers, and so do you. I agree to your bargain, I say. I won't tell anyone how I saw through your tricks. I won't even come to the meadow on Midsummer's Eve, not ever. The queen's face is hard as stone, but she gestures to the little girl on the ground. Take her, then. I always keep my word. Take her and go. Come with us, Rose, I say, holding out my hand. From somewhere in the crowd of fairies, I think I hear a laugh. Rose has been quiet all this time. Very quiet. In fact, I have never seen her sit still for so long. With a cry, I remember Jonathan's story about the doll that fooled William and Hagar. That's not the real Rose, I say. That's a fake made of twigs and mud and magic. From out behind the queen's black cloak comes a little girl who dances in circles on the grass. Ha ha ha, fally ha, she sings. I told you Nix is clever. He saw through your tricky trick. That's the real Rose, I say. The false Rose tips over, its eyes open and staring. Impossible, the queen cries. She points a long finger at me. You are mere people, and yet you know all my secrets. I cannot allow it. Run, Nix, Jonathan cries. But suddenly there are fairies all around us, threatening with horns and antlers and pointy teeth. We cannot get away. The queen raises her arms, and dark clouds rush to the sky above her, blotting out the moon. I know that she is going to call down the lightning. We made a bargain, I shout. You said you always keep your word. Thunder cracks. I won. I won't go to the meadow. I saw through all your tricks. Jonathan throws himself between me and the queen. Stop doing that, I say to him. I'm the older brother. But it's nice to have someone to hide behind, even though I know it won't do any good. The queen looks huge now, and lightning sparks around her fingertips. The skies flash. I squeeze my eyes tight shut. Enough! Cries a voice, a low, deep voice that seems to shake the ground. I open my eyes. All is quiet. From out of the forest comes a gigantic person who seems to be made of trees. His arms are great branches. His legs are enormous roots. His face is a pattern of swirling leaves. Mr. Green, the fairies whisper to one another. Mr. Green is here. The tall, pale fairies with no mouths at all bow low to the ground before him. It's Mr. Green, I say. Jonathan's eyes are wide. I must have a very good imagination. I may have been wrong about that, my brother says. The boy is right, Fairy Queen, Mr. Green says. You made a bargain. Do you mean to break it off? The queen looks smaller. The clouds above her rush away as quickly as they came, and the moon is bright again. She begins, but... She stamps her foot. Why would you side with one of them? Mr. Green makes a grumbly sound. He comes to the middle of the meadow, his root legs trailing dirt behind him. When he stops and raises his arms, it is as if we are all suddenly in the forest. I look up and up. I can see the moon through the leaves of his face. I am the forest, Mr. Green says to the good queen, and Nicholas is forest born. I protect everything under my branches, the grass and the grouse, the ferns and the fireflies, the bats and the bears. I hear wood creaking and groaning as he bends down to look into the queen's face. Nicholas is one of my dear little weeds. You would do well to remember that, O queen who only visits me once a year. Yes, Mr. Green, the queen says meekly. Mr. Green straightens up, and I hear groaning and creaking again. Now, he says to Jonathan and me, if I remember the ways of the peoples, Rose should be in bed by now. Please take her home.